Good morning. Good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? If you could all see you clear to not mentioning football, I'd be grateful because last night was abysmal. It really was. Travel, travel all the way across London to the Theatre of Dreams, which last night was a theatre of no of nightmares. Abysmal performance. Aaron Cresswell, one of our defenders. If you're watching, might be time to go and start a shop or something because that wasn't good. It really wasn't. That being said, yeah, last night not so great, but yeah, we've got something to look forward to. I want to show it to you right now. Here we go. Wednesday next week, 7 p.m. We will be hosting Mark Mates. That's him at the top. Mike Keogh. That's him at the bottom. You're probably familiar with Mike Keogh because he's been on the show a few times. We've been looking at the subject of post-fire deconstruction. That there is a fire-gutted building down in Dagenham in Essex. And C&D Consultancy, Mike Keogh's team in consultancy with High Tech Demolition actually demolished that, recovering the belongings of the people that lived there as well. It's going to be a very, very interesting story. If you are around on Wednesday next week, as I say, 7 p.m. Wednesday next week, please try to tune in. We will be broadcasting it across Facebook, across YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and probably somewhere else as well. But if you fancy a bit of that, then please do join in. I saw Mark Mates actually present something very similar to this on the same subject up at the Institute of Demolition Engineers uh, Friday before last, and moved to tears. He was. It's like that. That digger guy has just joined us over on Instagram. Good morning to you as well. Kitty was over there. Leslie Burke is there as well. Dylan Cohen is there. Lots and lots of people over on Instagram. Loads to get through today. Which I'll be telling you about. Excuse me. My morning monologue today does sound a bit like resignation. I don't mean resigning from my job because, who would I resign from? But it does sound like resignation, surrendering to the inevitable because that's the mood I woke up in this morning. And I have my West Ham team to blame for that. Chris Elwood says, morning, boys and girls, and you old ladies. Yes, particularly the old ladies. Thanks for that, Chris. I'm going to be back in just a moment. First, we do need to roll the intro, post the question of the day, and get this show on the road. So here we go. I'm just checking. It is definitely Tuesday, the 11th of March. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony. I am the Walrus of Demolition. I'm also the Lord High Chancellor of live streaming. You already know all that. In today's show, we're going to get the lowdown on the latest case wheel loader range. Komatsu's hybrid excavator is the perfect stop-off point on the road to zero emissions. A Jekko mini crane raises the bar, and Cardem, the French demolition contractor, is on the pull. Plus, as I've already I've already mentioned, my morning monologue today. What if this is it? That's it. That's what it's called. What if this is it? But before we get to all of that, there is the small matter of today's mystery machine to bring you. So let me play the animation, and I'll show you exactly what it is you've got to work with. Yeah, going to quickly say good morning to Dan Cullen, who is moving and loading wagons. So only listening today, operating two machines. Man of many talents, and he did. He sent me. You can see that in the background. I am now an official lord. I'm not entirely. Does that mean I can drive my sheep across London Bridge? I mean, I'd need to get to sheep first, but yeah, I wonder. But Dan Cullen actually sent me a photograph of a pub that he spotted called the Lord Anthony. Yes, I'm branching out. I'm diversifying. Anyway, mystery machine. It looks like this, and I can tell you, going to be absolutely honest with you. I have tweaked the colour. That is not its natural colour at all. I have gone all chameleon-like on this one and dyed it a nice shade of green. So if you can come up with a make and a model on that, I'd love to hear from you. Um, Now, did I actually post the question of the day? I don't know if I did. I'm going to do it now. And just as soon as I've done it, I'm going to remind you of exactly what the question of the day is. Like when I can find the right button, like this. Yeah, our question of the day today comes from our resident quizmaster, Mr. Gary Muirhead, and his question is this: what is a thing that you can't cook? Something you can't cook. Now, I'm not a good cook. In fact, unless it can be fried, stuck in a toaster, or nuked in a microwave, then I am pretty much stuffed. So I'm a bad example. So instead, I'm going to offer this tale from my own mum. Well, my mum loved lemon meringue pie. If it was on a menu in a restaurant, she would order it, guaranteed. But try as she might, she never once mastered the meringue part when she was cooking it herself. In fact, it became a bit of an obsession with her. Each time it was featured on a cooking show, each time there was a new cookbook, each time she met a new person that cooked a bit, she would think, I've cracked it. And each time the lemon pie bit was fine. You know, the lemon bit and pastry, absolutely fine. The meringue on top, the consistency of whipped cream. Never did she defeat the lemon meringue pie. What about you? What is a thing that you cannot cook? Garvage just joined us over on Instagram as well. Good morning to you, sir. What have we got here? Peter McKenna is here, and he says, lemon meringue pie. See, I'm not much of a fan. Not much of a fan. But he is here nonetheless. I'll come back to the mystery machine in a moment. Jim Turner, I can do you a good deal on some sheep, Mark. Uh, Much as I like them, not for any particular reason. I think sheep are a fine thing. Don't really want any, thanks. Not sure what my dogs would make of them either. Mystery Machine currently looks like that, and the first off the mark is our friend Chris Ford, who reckons it could be a Hitachi 490-7. It is not. It is not one of those. In fact, it's not a Hitachi at all. Now, see, this is why we ask questions of the day, because we learn about our audience. Peter McKenna says, things I cannot cook, nothing much. My dad was a chef. Well, how has that never come up in conversation, Peter? How did we not know that? I know you like your food. I know you like your spicy food, but didn't know your dad was a chef. But he's see, there is a difference, isn't there? I'm going to take this away for just a moment. There is a difference. Cooking, yeah, you know, if you're cooking I don't know, a roast dinner or something like that, you there's kind of leeway, isn't there? You can do it by feel and you know, cakes, baking, science. Absolute science. If you don't follow the recipe, my son, Fred, did quite a lot of sourdough baking during COVID. I think a lot of people did exactly the same. And sometimes, sometimes it would turn out to be a fine, fine thing. Other times, his sourdough loaf tasted fine, but it was about that deep. That's not a loaf. That's more like a ciabatta. Jim Turner says, "What can't you cook? My books. I have to pay an accountant." Well done, sir. Well done. Tristan Hayes has just Tristan Mays has just joined us over on Instagram, and he says, "Good morning, you young legend." He's clearly taking the mickey because I'm neither young nor legendary, but thank you very much indeed. Ken Hatcher says, everything. He can't cook anything at all. I follow recipes. It's the oven that didn't make it work. Well, you can keep claiming, you know, what is it? A poor engineer blames his tools or something like that. Our friend Mick has just joined us as well. Morning, Mick. How you doing, my friend? Please go easy on me after last night's abysmal performance of the Mighty Hammers, who were not particularly mighty last night. I realise this is a joke that only 4 or 5 people ever will get. West Ham have a player called Danny Ings. I think we bought him from Aston Villa. And we bought him basically because they didn't want him. He's not good. He really is not good. And West Ham were poor last night, very, very poor. We went a goal down and got even more poor. And then the PA announced so and so is going off and coming onto the pitch, Danny Ings. and there was a guy sat beside me who just went, "Fuck off." Got up and left. He actually left because one of our players was being introduced to the fray. Yeah, that's West Ham fans for you. Right, okay, it is time to crack on with. I tell you what, let me show you a bit more of the mystery machine, because I did cheat you a bit yesterday and didn't show you anywhere near enough. That's the machine that you need to identify a make and a model. We have played with the color, so don't be fooled. Don't go looking up on Google green excavators, because this one didn't start out green, I promise you. Back in just a moment. Yeah, we haven't heard from the fine folks at Case for quite some time, but time to put that right. Here is the Case wheel loader range. I think you'll like it.
When it comes to wheel loaders, Case G series haven't just raised the bar, they've redefined it. Whether you're considering the 521, 621 or 721 loader, they've been engineered for safety, power, ease of operation and ultimate comfort. With industry-leading cab design to advanced control systems, these machines have been crafted with the operator in mind. Let's take a look why these loaders are the perfect choice for the New Zealand market. Let's talk about what really matters, comfort and control. From the sealed and pressurised cabs keep the dust out and the air fresh, ensuring your comfort all day on the job. Offering a workspace that both prioritises your safety and your comfort with easy grab handles, wide steps, makes getting in and out of this loader a breeze. Spacious interior of the Case G series wheel loader has taken taller operators into account by providing more leg space and a higher cab height. We all know that good visibility is key to a wheel loader. In this machine you have unparalleled visibility right down to your feet with no big chunky dash like some of our competitors. Being the widest available at the moment, it's a full 360 degree visibility thanks to having only 4 pillars and wraparound front and rear windscreens. This seat features active suspension, a low frequency viscous absorption system, basically making it comfortable at any speed to ensure you can do a long day in this cab. Coupled with the HVAC aircon, whether it's going to be the hottest days or the chilliest mornings, Case has you covered. The intuitive multi-function joystick is adjustable for all operators, enhancing comfort and reducing fatigue across your day. Every button is designed with practicality in mind, colour-coded for operators with colour blindness or colour sensitivity. Unlike some competitors that place switches up in the pillar, Cases are designed a sealed switchboard conveniently located at the operator's fingertips for maximum accessibility. The switches are grouped by logical functions, making it easy to adjust settings without distractions. Additionally, you can activate features like return to dig, auto lift and return to travel, streamlining repetitive tasks and enhancing efficiency. Case G series wheel loaders have an integrated factory payload system, allowing you to accurately weigh any of your products. This ensures that you're not going to overload or underload trucks on the road and helps with your operating efficiencies. Powering the Case wheel loader range is the super efficient and reliable FPT engine. 521 to 921 has the extremely popular 6.7 litre engine. With fuel consumption on everyone's mind, the torque curve of this machine gives us the power required at a low RPM, optimising your operation. The FPT engines use the latest SC ROF technology exclusive to Case. This eliminates any DPF filters and EGR systems, which enables the engine to operate at lower temperatures and the most efficiency. One of the best advantages from having the engine separated from the cab is the noise. We're only getting 68 decibels inside that cab. Another benefit to the rear-mounted engine is having 270 degree ground level access to your service and daily checkpoints. Another benefit to the rear mounted engine, it optimises the weight distribution on Case wheel loaders. This gives us 2 valuable benefits. The first one is having longer loader arms, which then allows our bucket and dump heights to be higher, and we all wanted it, higher payload. The unique Case cooling cube has the radiators in a box formation This prevents any overlapping or stacking, allowing huge amounts of cool air to come through and cool the components. Another benefit to the case cooling cube is the variable speed reversible fan standard across all of the G-Series case wheel loaders. We run a ZF 5-speed transmission with power shift and kickdown features. This also incorporates a torque converter which gives you 100% mechanical lockup for more power on the ground and fuel economy. Thank you for joining me on this walk around tour of the Case G-Series wheel loaders. If you've got any questions about this machine or any of the other Case lineup, please don't hesitate to give us a call at Mimico.
Pretty smart. I think you'll agree. As Ken Hatcher said, a lot of thought gone into that cap. Totally agree with you. A couple of things here from Mick. Mick first. No, that's the one I was after. There we are. Owing to the fact, excuse me, owing to the fact that I missed my double last week due to swanning about abroad, it's that day today. I discovered one of the issues with night games at the London Stadium. It's not pie and mash time, is it? Not pie and mash time at all. So I ended up going to Liverpool Street for pizza, which was very nice. Me, my 2 boys, and my eldest daughter as well. Do excuse me, bit of a frog this morning. Strangely, there were a few Geordies in my local last night, bursting bubbles with the locals. The Toon Army came. There wasn't a huge number of them. There was a few. They took over a section of the stand. Have to say, we were on a tube train back out of Stratford last night with a bunch of Geordies. Good as gold, because they knew we were rubbish. They were only marginally better. Mostly Diggers Garvin just said, our case at Belmont. I don't remember them at the last one. They were a stay away last time, but I'm not entirely sure if they're going to be there this time. Let me have a very quick look. Do need to answer this very quickly because I don't know the answer to this. That's all. Load more. Just talk amongst yourselves while I answer this specific question. Yes, case construction equipment are in fact at Belma. Stand FM 714/9. Yeah, it's actually CNH Industrial Deutschland. So it's I'm guessing that's the local dealer there. But yes, case will be there. They are returning. There you are, bringing you the latest news as we often do. Now, Mystery Machine has obviously got you all puzzled. As I say, I have changed the colour to protect the innocent. Here are our guesses so far. Dan reckons it could be a JCB JS220. It is not. It's not a Cat 365D. It's not a Sany S1 SY215. It's not a Hitachi PC210. It's not a Hyundai HX350A. It's not a Volvo EC380 HR. It's not a Kobelco SK350. I tell you what, I'm not going to read them all out. It's none of what you've guessed so far. None of those. So let me show you a smidgen more. There you are. Does that help? Bit of rear end. Mike Woof of Global Highways is here. Younger son was at London Stadium also with his mate, who is a West Ham fan. Please, Mike, please send your son's friend my deepest condolences. We were not good. We really were not good. Mick says, still like the case machines, but wonder if they beefed up the arms. They were prone to crack years back. I don't know the answer to that, but if I bump into anyone at case, I'll be sure to ask the question. Chris Ford still reckons we could be looking at Kobelco there with our Mystery Machine. It's not. And he also reckons it could be a JCB. It's not one of those either. Keep those guesses coming. Let me take that away because we've got more to be getting on with. We're talking Komatsu hybrids immediately after this.
If you are enjoying this episode, please consider supporting the show. You can leave us a tip at buymeacoffee.com/demolition news.
Yeah, the Komatsu hybrid excavators came up in conversation about a week ago, and I've had this video on standby, just waiting for a slot to put it in. Obviously, a lot of talk about electrification, a lot of talk about hydrogen as a possible future, but there's a halfway house, and that is the hybrid. And Komatsu have been doing it probably longer than anybody. This is where we are today. damn fine machine it is. Drove one of those once, a long while ago, but very, very smart. I'm going back to Mystery Machine. Here we go. Dan Cullen reckons it could be a Hydromech HMK 145 LC. It is not one of those. And it's also not a Komatsu PC 148. Let me show you a smidge more. There you are. Does that help at all? Dan is also going for the Komatsu PC 138. He's went for the 148 and then he went for the 138. It is neither of those things. Keep the guesses coming. Keep those guesses coming. I'll be right back after this.
Since the finance bill came into effect in April, the construction industry has seen a surge of fuel thefts. The rising cost of living has placed an additional risk of theft by employees and contractors, as well as opportunistic thieves. By using diesel dye and placing warnings of its use, you are sending a clear message that this is your fuel.
Another guess on the Mystery Machine, the Volvo EC350 from Crisfield. It is not one of those. Let me show you a bit more. Let me bring that up. There you are. I think you've already figured out what type of machine it is and it's on tracks. Keep the guesses coming. Cat 325 Next Gen, says Dan Cullen. It's not one of those. Not one of those. Got you guessing, haven't I? Have I beaten you all again? We shall see. Anyway, we never feature cranes, but Tristan Mays is in the audience, and I like to keep him sweet from time to time. Truth be told, I found this video. I do like a mini crane. I think they are a very, very versatile piece of equipment that I think we often overlook, and I think this is a really good example of them. Sit back, enjoy. I am with Mick on that. Handy bit of kit, he says. I absolutely agree. I think in the right application, or applications, plural, I think that is an absolute stonker of a machine. Now, Mystery Machine. I'm not getting any closer, I'm afraid. Peter McKenna reckons it could be a Zoom Lion ZE135. He also, Dan Cullen reckons a Sumitomo 235X. It's not. Peter McKenna is sticking with Zoomline ZE210. It's not. It's not one of those either. It's not one of those either. And Ken Hatcher, going back to the Jekko mini crane, or the mini telescopic crane there. Crawler crane, telescopic crane, one of those. Handy bit of kit. I totally agree. Dan Cullen reckons our Mystery Machine could be an XCMG XE215. It's not one of those. Let me show you a smidge more. There you are. there's not much more I can show you without giving a game away. So keep those guesses coming if you would be so kind. Where are we? Yeah, we're off to France in just a moment for a bit of really top-notch demolition. Stick with me. Dan Cullen's taken another stab at our mystery machine, reckons it's the Hitachi 225. Let me just show you what it is that he's trying to identify. It is not Hitachi 225. Tell you that much. It's not Hitachi at all, actually. Yes, I promised you some Cardem demolition from France. Watch them pull this down. Hope those operators had their cab doors closed. Blimey. Yeah, very well executed, all of that aside. Looks like this one might be going to me, I'm afraid. Chris Ford reckons it could be a case 245D SR. It's not. Peter McKenna reckons the Lugong 960 FE. It's not. He's also going for the Lugong 820 TE. TE. I'll leave that there. No, it's none of those things. You've got basically our Mission to Munich films to get through, and then I will have to announce it, I'm afraid. So you've probably got, let me think, have a quick calculation. 11, 44, 55, 55, 65, 69 seconds or thereabouts before I actually announce what that mystery machine is. I'll be right back with what Lugong have got promised for Balmer right after this.
We do, I doubt it. We've got the energy, we'll tell you all about it.
Jim Turner says, good tune, had a whiff of Morricone about it. Oh, yeah, a bit of Ennio Morricone. It is the, I know the theme tune to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is the one that everyone remembers. But the final shootout between Eastwood, Lee Van Cleef, and Eli What's-His-Face, one of the greatest bits of movie music ever, in my very humble opinion. Let's have a look. Mystery Machine. Let me put it up on the screen because Darren Cullen reckons it could be a John Deere 245. It's not. It's also not a Shandong ZE360E. Looks like I could be walking away with a big prize. Not really walking away anywhere, and the prize is mine already, so it means nothing. Lugong at Balmer, like this. can't remember what year it was, but I do actually remember the first year that I encountered Lugong and thought, oh, Chinese excavators, there's a thing. Wonder if they'll ever catch on. Little did I know. Thank you to MB Crusher for their sponsorship of the mission to Munich. Here is their advert.
Hey, turn this TV off. Ain't want my type activity, but don't you get involved. Hey, what? How many shit I seen? Send them all. Take a risk or take a trip. You know I'm tripping for my dog.
Right, Mystery Machine is mine, I'm afraid. Here it is. We've had this from Peter McKenna, who reckons it could be the Hydromic. It's not. The HMK 220LC. It's not. Dan Cullen going for the John Deere 145 XT. It is not that. It is, in fact, a link belt 355 X4S. Link belt. And then obviously that green is supposed to be red. Very bright red as well. So yeah, I'm going to chuck those 3 points up to me. That's well, quite satisfying, really. Congratulations to me. I shall accept your applause when it arrives. That pretty much wraps up the main part of this morning's show. I do want to remind you, if in case you're heading out the door, this on Wednesday next week, Wednesday the 26th. That is at. Is that next Wednesday? No, it's the Wednesday after. Wednesday the 26th, 7 p.m. It's a breakfast show after dark, and we are going to be looking at post-fire deconstruction, how that tower block in Dagenham after a fire was brought down by Mark Mates at the top there and Mike Keogh at the bottom. Really interesting story. Looking forward to bringing that one to you. Crazy Edits. Peter McKenna says, never heard of them. American company. I don't think I've ever actually seen a link belt in this country, but they're quite a big deal. And Dan Cullen says, well done, Mark. Thank you very much. Gracious in defeat as ever. Right, that's about it for the main part of this morning show. I'm going to roll the outro in just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into the morning, my morning monologue. If you can't stick around for that, then please stay safe. Look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. And I hope to see you again very soon. But if you do have the time and the inclination, I'll be back immediately after this. And I just there you are, Peter McKenna. Both case and link belt, full-size excavators built by the same manufacturer, Sumitomo. Okay. You're right. But obviously, it was the link belt version that I was looking for. So back after this with my morning monologue. What if this is it? What if the demolition and construction industry has peaked? What if we've wrung every last ounce of efficiency from the processes, the materials, and the machinery? What if the dream of a safer, smarter, more innovative industry was nothing more than wishful thinking? An illusion we told ourselves to keep going, to keep believing we were building towards something better? What if this is, in fact, the golden era, and we were too busy chasing progress to realise that we'd already reached the summit? What if we will never eradicate site accidents and fatalities? We tell ourselves that every new regulation, every new training program, every new safety campaign is a step toward a future where no one loses their life to a job. And yet, the accidents continue. The fatalities persist. The same stories repeat themselves with only the names and the dates changed. Maybe the truth is simpler. Maybe there is no absolute safety. Maybe we've already done all that we can do, and people will continue to be crushed, electrocuted, buried, and burned, no matter how hard we try to prevent it. Maybe danger is simply part of the deal, a cost we've learned to live with. What if we're now at our most productive? We worship at the altar of efficiency, always striving for faster builds and quicker demolitions, streamlined supply chains. But what if we've already reached the pinnacle? What if every project from now on is just an incremental improvement, a minor optimization of something that's already been stretched to its limits? Maybe this is as good as it gets, and from here on, every promise of revolution is just a marketing ploy. Every new technique just another variation on the same tired, tried, and tested methods. What if we never resolve the industry skill shortage? What if we're forced to build more with fewer and fewer people? We say we need more people. We say we want more people. but we've done precious little to attract them and engage with them. What if somewhere behind closed doors it's been decided that we now have as many workers as we will ever get? That we'll now just push our existing workers harder and harder until they break? What if we never address the mental health crisis within the sector? We talk about it, we acknowledge it, we raise awareness, and yet workers continue to suffer in silence. They keep drinking too much, sleeping too little, bottling up everything they can't afford to express. Maybe the culture is too deeply ingrained, too hardened by decades of a tough it out mentality. Maybe we will always be an industry of men and women who wear their mental and physical exhaustion like a badge of honour, who carry their burdens alone until they can't carry them anymore. Maybe we never change because deep down, we don't actually want to. What if we never address the industry's gender imbalance? The same panels, the same discussions, the same reports year after year, each one declaring that more needs to be done. And yet the numbers barely shift. The workforce remains overwhelmingly male. The barriers to entry remain stubbornly in place, and the token gestures highlighting one or two women once a year do nothing to shift the culture. Maybe this is just who we are. Maybe this industry was never meant to be anything else. What if machines are now as good as they will ever be? Every year brings new promises of automation, new advances in technology. But what if we're now at the ceiling? What if there is no great leap forward, no coming age where robots take over entirely? What if all we have left are refinements, better sensors, slightly more efficient hydraulics, minor software improvements? What if this is as smart as machines will ever get, and we remain, as we always have been, reliant on human hands, human instincts, and human errors? What if we're forever trapped in the hinterland between electrification and our desire to stick with diesel? The push for greener construction and demolition has been relentless, yet the industry continues to drag its feet. We want the cleaner air, the quieter streets, the reduced emissions. We also want the reliability, the power, and the familiarity of diesel. We linger in the in-between, caught between ambition and reluctance, waiting for some external force to push us one way or another. What if that force never comes? What if we stay here indefinitely, neither embracing the future nor clinging fully to the past? What if all the promises of change were just that, promises? What if, excuse me, what if we were wrong to believe in a future where the industry evolves into something better? What if we were naive to think things would ever be different? Maybe we've already arrived at our destination. Maybe this is it, the best, the safest, the most advanced we will ever be. Maybe, just maybe, we've spent so long pushing forward that we never stopped to consider whether there was anywhere left to go. What if this is it? There you are. Here's my thought for the day with an itchy schnoz. I'll come back to all of that in just a moment. Dan Cullen reckons he was going to go with Link Belt next. Sure you were. Case CX B series and Link Belt X2 series are the same, exact same machine, except for the different paint colour. I'm sure that's the case. Just going back to my monologue there. There is a notion within within the built environment. There is this notion of demolition by neglect. So perhaps a local authority wants a building gone, can't get permission to get it demolished, and so they just leave it to rot and to fall apart, to become derelict, to become dangerous, at which point somebody says, you better pull that down. What if that's being done? And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I promise you, I'm definitely not a conspiracy theorist. But what if that is being done to the labour force within the UK demolition and construction industry? Think about it. Okay, so if you were of the mind you wanted to go fully autonomous, fully automated tomorrow, you would have to lay off 2.5 million people. They would need redundancy payments. There'd be outcry from government. There'd be outcry from unions and so on down the line. Nobody wants that. Or do they? If you were if you were that way inclined, if you were the Elon Musk of the UK construction and demolition industry, and you thought actually it's going to be much, much better when we've done away with men and women and we've got just robots and automated systems and processes. But if we lay them off, it will cost us a bloody fortune and some very, very negative PR. How about if we don't really try too hard to bring in fresh young blood from schools and colleges? What if we allow people to retire and not replace them? And what if that process isn't quite quick enough, if the retirement process isn't quite quick enough, we do away with grandfather rights that grant, I can't even think of the word, but they allow people to carry on working based purely upon their past experience. They haven't got to sit an exam or anything like that. So we'll take that away. So we've already got a lot of people retiring, and we've now just encouraged some more to retire. What if that is part of a grand plan? If you wanted to automate the demolition and construction industry, and you were, as I say, Elon Musk or another Bond villain wannabe, would you want to fund 2.5 million redundancy packages? Or do you just want to make it harder and harder and harder for people to stay within the industry or to join the industry? At which point you say, well, we loved people. Oh, boy, we loved humans. Humans were the best thing ever, but we can't find enough of them. Try as we might, we can't find enough of them. So robots it is. Well, grudgingly, we're going the robotic route. It's the way I play it. As I say, not a conspiracy theorist. But Jim Turner says, in a long diatribe, he says, when I can get it up, our sites were more efficient in the past. We're firmly in decline. Safety is better, but the people on site are worse. Mental health is poor, but I think the people in general, I think that's people in general, rather. I blame drugs and social media for a lot of that. Yeah, couldn't argue with that. Some machines are better, but many are just more complicated without any more production. As for fuel, it should be left to naturally head in the right direction. This is done by price, efficiency, and availability. We have far more regulation than we've ever had. When you think about that, sites were more efficient in the past. What has changed? Well, I'll tell you one thing that has changed is the amount of administration that we have to deal with. We have more now than we've ever had before. So we've actually gone backwards in terms of efficiency there. Safety is better. Yes, it is. But safety hasn't really noticeably improved. And I'm thinking particularly here about site fatalities. We got it down to 30, 35 in a year for the UK pre-COVID. Then it bounced back up again, and it stayed up again. So that's definitely not helping. Yeah, maybe the mental health thing that we talk about a lot on this show. Maybe it is a wider societal thing. Machines are better. Yes, they are. Well, some machines are better. I totally agree. But how many are just more complicated? You know, if you really did a time and motion study on the efficiency and productivity of a machine, is it more productive to have lots of electronics that only the dealer armed with a sonic screwdriver can fix, or were you better off with something that the operator himself could jump out the cab, bag of spanners and a sledgehammer, and he'd have it back up and running in 10 minutes flat? I'm thinking the old way of doing things. As for fuel, should be left naturally to head in the right direction. This is done by price, efficiency, and availability. Yeah. And we've got far more regulation than we've ever had. We have regulation upon regulation upon regulation. And I wonder, going back to that idea of time and motion study, if you took a demolition or construction site from the 70s, I was around then, so I mean, I don't remember construction in the 70s, but back to the 70s. Yes, it was a bit more rough and ready, but you were granted planning permission to do a thing, be it demolition or construction, and you went about your business. And then we had the introduction of this regulation and that regulation, and you must do this and you must do that, and you must have environmental regulations, safety regulations, and all these things, all of which overlap and kind of intermingle. Did we take a step forward in terms of our environmental stewardship, in terms of health and safety? Yes, we probably did. Did that bring about an improvement in productivity? I would hazard a guess that no, it did not. It did not. Overregulation kills growth. And we are severely, severely overregulated. You know, I wonder if I can do it live. Bear with me a second. I'm just going to go over to ChatGPT. Bear with me 1 second. I didn't realize I was going to be going down this path. Right, I've just asked ChatGPT what regulations a UK construction company what must they abide by? And it's still typing, but I'm going to tell you it's the Health and Safety at Work Act, CDM regs, work at height regulations, control of substances hazardous to health, personal protective equipment, provision of the use of work equipment regulations, lifting operations and lifting regulations, building regulations 2010, UKCA marking, Environmental Protection Act, control of asbestos regulations, the waste regulations 2011, the Energy Performance of Buildings regulations 2012, Employment Rights Act, Equality Act, Working Time Regulations, National Minimum Wage Act, Modern Slavery Act 2015, Town and Country Planning Act 1990, Party Wall, etc. Act 1996, Fire Safety Order 2005, CITB CSCS requirements. How the fuck does anyone get any work done? Seriously. This is why you have an imbalance within the employment system. You know, you go to, and I'm thinking specifically here about a demolition company. You know, a demolition company used to be, you know, a couple of people in the office, 50 people out on site. It's the other way around now. It's gone. It's turned full circle. We now have entire departments basically doing nothing but ensuring that you abide by regulations and legislation. It makes no sense at all. Peter McKenna says, "I don't work." That makes it easy for you. But even if you wanted to, and I know you do, but Mick says, if you suggest the demo industry has possibly reached its pinnacle, then the book needs to be torn up and rewritten. The demo industry needs to be presented as a complete rebirth to anyone who chooses to come into the game, highlighting the pros of the skill and knowledge that is needed to get the brain matter churning over, reforming the whole card and call systems, and most of all, one body to be in charge of it all. I've been thinking a lot about this recently, and I'm not going to get into the whole NFDC thing. Done with that. Much the same way as I think about the electrification of equipment, we are coming to a turning point where we need to change. Now, down one road lies, in terms of fuel, down one road lies sticking with diesel, making do with what we've got until the regulators come along and say you can't do that anymore. Or we go electric, possibly hydrogen, embrace automation, embrace robotics, embrace telematics to the point where we just get more and more and more efficient. We've got exactly the same turning point within the demolition industry. As it stands at the moment, we have the Institute of Demolition Engineers. We have the National Federation of Demolition Contractors. How much longer does demolition in its truest sense have? Should we be looking now at the Institute of Deconstruction Engineers? Should we be looking at the National Federation of Deconstruction Contractors? And if we are going to change the name, what say we change the process? What say we change the methodologies? What say we go back to square one, as Mick has rightly suggested there, and say, okay, well, you know, that was, you know, the rules and regulations as defined by the NFDC back in 1941 were absolutely fine and dandy, and they did a fine job, fine job, and you know, they helped during the Blitz, and more power to them. But the rules and the regulations and the stipulations and everything else no longer suit the modern world. Demolition, in many ways, does not suit the modern world. We are heading down the path of deconstruction and retrofit and refit, replacing demolition. Like it or not, and I don't like it, but that's the way we're headed. Is now the time to embrace that and say, okay, well, if the rules are going to be changed for us, let's act quickly and set our own rules to make sure that when somebody does say actually demolition is outlawed or pushed to the very edges of acceptability, we are going to go deconstruction. You can stand up and say, not a problem. We've already done the homework. There's a new competence card for deconstruction engineers, and we've got new training courses in place that are truly reflective of competence and experience and everything else. We are ready to rock and roll. Or, as I said in my morning monologue, what if? What if this is as good as it gets? Dan Cullen says safety is worse than before, and I'm inclined to agree. I mean, I know the fatalities kind of go up and go down, and I know the last lot were up, but I do wonder. I wonder about two things on the subject of safety. First is, I wonder if we have numbed our workforce by constantly talking about health and safety and toolbox talks and pre-start briefings and just constant. Do you get to the point where after you've listened to that for 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years that you just tune it out? It's just flowing over you. And I also wonder about, and I don't think this is specifically a construction or demolition thing. I think this is a societal thing. We have surrendered personal responsibility because we think somebody else will take care of it. And if they don't, we can sue them. You walk down the street, you trip over a paving slab. You should have been looking where you were going. It's your own bloody fault. But you're going to be straight on the phone to the council and say, "Oh, it's your fault that I've just scuffed me new Gucci loafers," because I know you're all big Gucci loafer wearers. And I wonder if we've got that. We now spoon feed our workers. Here's your PPE. Here's your harness. Here's your hard hat. Here's your safety goggles. Here's some instructions on when you wear them and how you wear them and where you wear them and everything else. To the point where they are just so wrapped in cotton wool, so mollycoddled that they don't actually worry or concern themselves with safety at all. They just pitch up and they're convinced that somebody else will take care of it. Take care of all of it for you. Dan says, I say that no one listens to the safety regs. There's hundreds of stupid words and regulations. Yeah. And there's a thing that we do, which I find remarkable that it still survives to this day. When we're preparing RAMs these days, risk assessments and method statements, there has been a real move, I think, particularly with the more forward-thinking folks in the industry, to simplify and simplify and simplify. If you've got to show a set of RAMs to a client, it might run to 50 pages and it's all well illustrated and beautifully laid out and everything else. But the people that are actually going to be abiding by those RAMs basically need a page, 2 pages max. Make it as simple as you possibly can so that, at a glance, okay, I know exactly what I'm doing. And yet we haven't done that with safety. We haven't done it with any regulations. Whenever there's an introduction of a new set of regulations, it gives me a headache to read them. Page after page after page after page of legalese and, political speak. Where's the pricing? Okay, I know you produced 100 words on how to safely take down a building. Can I have that in 15 bullet points? Better still, can I have it in 10? Where's that? Dan Cullen says, and yet here one, it's not law to hold a CSCS, CPCS, NPAWS cards to get on the site. It's not. Mick, 100%. Whole construction industry needs a whole new makeover. Weird. It's like the Travelodge in Newport. It looks like an Amazon warehouse retrofitted, and man, Newport needs a makeover as well. I saw your photographs, Dan. It does look like it needs a makeover indeed. There was something on the news earlier about AI. If, as they said, AI is capable now of teaching itself, then we need to rethink this. Without those who have done demolition teaching AI, what it requires to demolish buildings safely, will it then improve the task set out, or will it just evolve in its own way? That then will mean every building has been built that has been built needs to be fed into the thing, or will it foresee possible dangers as a human does? Ultimately, yes, I think it will. But how many people are using systems that are available? We've got systems now where we can scan a building to see precisely where the joints are, what type of joints they are. So if you're demolishing it, where you can cut, where you shouldn't cut, what is it, the sequence in which you should cut, and so on down the line. So you can basically take an X-ray of a building, feed that into an AI model, and say, okay, give me my instructions, not based on, well, we did a tower block a bit like this 6 years ago. Show me how it should be done right now. Is anyone doing that? If they are, I'm not aware. Not aware. Dan Cullen says, yes, all this toolbox talks are a pain in the nuts, and then also many don't understand a word. Many foreign nationals don't understand English language in writing. So simplify. So genuinely, some of the best RAMs that I've ever seen are pictorial. Here's an activity in photographic or graphic form with a line through it. Don't do that. Okay. And I don't care whether you're English, Scottish, Welsh, Irish, Polish, Romanian, Hungarian, or from the Côte d'Ivoire. I don't know where that came from, but it doesn't matter where you're from. You can look at that and go, oh yeah, I don't want to do that. Fine. There you are. That's nice and easy. Yes, you've got your detailed RAMs that you've shown to the client to get you across the finish line to actually land the job, and to give them a warm, fuzzy feeling about the fact that you're taking health and safety very, very seriously, and that you've really considered the methodology. But the people that need to deliver that methodology, if you arrive on a site, be it a demolition or a construction site, and somebody says, right, here's the RAMs, and it lands on your table like War and Peace, are you really going to read it? Are you? Are you really? 50 pages on the Health and Safety at Work Act. Really? Show me a picture. Tell me what to do. Tell me what not to do. Tell me where I can go, tell me where I can't go. Then we'll crack on with the job. There you are. I think that will probably do us. That's an hour. No, it's a whole hour of your life that you're never getting back. I'm going to be back here tomorrow. What is tomorrow? It's Wednesday, isn't it? Hump day. Happy hump day tomorrow. So yes, I don't know quite what I'll be talking about tomorrow. I didn't know what I was going to be talking about today until about an hour ago. Mick says, right, gents, shit shower and shave time, not to mention taking the hound for a quick pedal, then off to Maz's and double time. I would now think of nothing else for the rest of the day. Thanks for that, Mick, but have a fine time. Loads of that chili vinegar, please. And keep the pies crust side up, if you would be so kind. Just saying, I have a personal preference, and that is it. Everybody go and have a fine and splendid day. I'm sure this isn't it. I'm sure things will improve. This show probably won't. I'm a bit set in my ways, but I'm sure things will improve, and I'm just feeling a bit down after West Ham last night. I'll be back tomorrow with something hopefully a little bit more upbeat. Till then, everybody, have a great day. All the best.